in northwestern Wisconsin has been expired by the National Weather Service, though we're still tracking some very strong thunderstorms up there. Anyways, moving into what's tracking, a FedEx driver is being praised for arriving right on time.
He saved a driver from a burning car wreck on an interstate. It happened driving his delivery truck along a California interstate. And that's when he spotted a car smashed against a guardrail, engulfed in flames. The driver wasted no time hopping out and pulling the injured driver out and away from the wreckage just before it exploded. He insists he's no hero, just in the right place at the right time.
Finally, another story of bravery.
A teen jumped into action after a rip current pulled two swimmers out to sea at a New Hampshire beach on Saturday. Swimmers noticed a man and a woman struggling in the water, caught up in a rip current Saturday night. 19-year-old Ella Bizanson heard the cries for help and didn't hesitate to jump in. She paddled 200 yards off the shore to get to the woman. The woman's friend was rescued by firefighters. Well, Jackson, let's check in one more time in terms of the storms that are running in.
Yeah, we want to look at those watches and warnings. Now, you notice on the screen there is that dot of red. That is that tornado warning. However, we have had word from the National Weather Service in Duluth that they have expired that warning. Outside of that warning, though, you'll notice a couple more things. More severe thunderstorm warnings in effect. One in the northern part of Ashland and Iron County. One throughout southern Ashland, Iron, and northern Price County. Those are still very strong storms, even though that tornado warning has expired. Could have wind gusts up to 60, 70, or even 80 miles per hour, and potentially hail of 1 inch to 1.5 inches in diameter, maybe 2 inches. We've had a history of large hail with these storms, and they're headed our way the rest of this evening.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Jackson, and thank you for joining us. Your News at 5 starts right now.
Tonight at 5 on News 9, strong to severe storms are moving through the News 9 area tonight. We'll let you know what to expect and where the strongest storms are headed.
We have an update on that 10-year-old girl from Chippewa Falls that was sexually assaulted and murdered, and how a lawsuit made it possible to get more than 31,000 cases of life-saving medications delivered to Cronenweder.
Make sure that we're helping communities.
Plus, a warning for parents as an attempt for your kids to cool off could end up burning them. What officials say you should do before turning on the water.
Only on News 9 WAOW. We've got you covered. Right now, a Storm Track 9 weather alert from News 9 WAOW.
And first at 5, a hot day throughout the area as temperatures rise into the 90s. A pop-up splash pad by the Stevens Point Fire Department provided some relief, but soon a different kind of precipitation will fall, and we do have storms approaching the area. Jackson has been tracking this throughout the day. We have live team coverage for everyone throughout the area so that you will know just how that humid air and the possible threat of thunderstorms can also affect us tonight.
Yeah, we're constantly working with the National Weather Service in Duluth, Green Bay, La Crosse to give us the most up-to-date details. They've been issuing severe thunderstorm warnings for the good part of the past couple of hours. Now, the National Weather Service Green Bay has been in addition to the National Weather Service in Duluth in issuing a severe thunderstorm watch across much of north central Wisconsin. That extends from Wood and Portage County all the way further north, and that does continue for the rest of this evening. There are a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings in effect right now, which we are continuing to track. One smaller warning in the northern part of Ashland and Iron County that is now starting to dwindle away, but we still do have that warning at least until 5:15, and then a severe thunderstorm warning till 5:30. You can see for the southern part of Ashland, Iron, and Price County. Here's what it looks like on our radar view, and you can see a lot of red on this map, a lot of heavy rain, frequent lightning, but more important, large hail potential and very gusty winds. We've already seen reports off to the west and parts of eastern Minnesota that have had hail up to 1.5 inches, or 1.8 inches, maybe even 2-inch diameter hail. That is definitely dangerous, and wind gusts up to 50, 60 miles per hour. We take a look here, and this is where the rotation was earlier. We just had a tornado warning in effect that has now been expired as of just a few minutes ago. And you can see the rotation, or at least the couplet of red and green, has sort of fallen apart. That's a good thing. It means that that tornado is likely not going to be forming with this system. However, you'll still notice a lot of bright green popping up on the map, and that bright green is indicative of strong winds, which are right off of the western edge of Ashland and Price County. We take a zoomed out look, and you can still see once again a lot of this activity. Looks like that warning in northern Ashland and Iron County is still in effect. effect. We're going to see if we can pop up into that. I'm actually going to step off screen so we can move into those areas and give you an update on what cities those severe thunderstorm warnings are moving into. The one in northern Ashland and Iron County could be impacting the areas of Gurnee, Saxon, Upson, Iron Belt, and Hurley. Of course, that does right now look a little bit weaker than it was a little bit earlier, but still could be very, very strong. There's that severe thunderstorm warning in southern Ashland, Iron, and northern Price County. And just to the south of that, we're seeing a little bit more increased activity that could potentially move into central Price County. Let's track that out. It's not under a warning right now, but could potentially be issued and move over towards the Kennon or Phillips area here in the next half hour or so. We're going to take a look at the precipitation core. This shows us where we could potentially have some hail. You can see this bright pink showing up here just to the northwest of Price County. That'll be moving over towards the Oxbow area and eventually towards Park Fall and Sailor Creek. So there could potentially be some large hail headed that way. And as we zoom out, you can see just how many colors are popping up on this precipitation core, showing that hail is likely for the rest of this system. Once again, we do want to reiterate, keep your storm plan in mind with these storms tonight. If a severe thunderstorm warning is issued nearby you or nearby someone you know, contact your friends and family, stay up to date, and head into that safe space. We're going to continue on with our newscast here. We'll give you more updates if any more warnings are issued coming up in just a bit.
Very good. Thank you, Jackson. And with the heat climbing, you may want to go for a dip in the pool these days. But what about the workers that are installing the pool? News 9's Nick Robinson in Vesper with what they are doing to keep cool.
Pools are a great way to cool off during the summer, but getting them installed is hard work, especially when the heat index is over 100 degrees.
Getting another pool installed is all in a day's work for Ethan DeBeasel and his crew, rain or shine. But on a day like today, keeping cool is a must, especially when you're working outside, and he shared how they do it.
We always got a cooler with us, drinking plenty of water. Typically we try to find whatever shade we can. Just a shame that nobody's ever installing pools in the shade.
And thankfully, the pool that they were installing was the easiest one that they use, and they were able to complete it in just a couple of hours. So now they can take a dip.
And hopefully when it's all done, the guys can enjoy a little dip themselves. In Vesper, Nick Robinson, News 9 WAOW.
Thank you, Nick. And an additional reminder, if using a garden hose to cool off, the Wisconsin Rapids Fire Department reminds you to check the temperature of the water in those water lines before you spray any pets or let children play with them. Temps of the water inside those hoses can actually reach about 140 degrees. Extreme heat across the U.S. threatening the nation's largest power grid. PJM Interconnection issued an emergency alert today. It manages electricity for more than 65 million people in the Northeast. Over 140 million are under heat alerts across much of the country right now, with the rising mercury breaking records through at least Saturday, they are predicting. And to help the nation address the recent heat wave, President Joe Biden announces new measures. He's asking the Department of Labor to issue a hazard alert to help protect workers against extreme heat. And he has also announced setting aside $7 million from the Inflation Reduction Act to improve weather forecasting. Another choice in area healthcare, a merger is announced between Essentia Health and Marshfield Clinic Health System. The two want to form a regional health system serving rural communities. The agreement is the latest step for the two organizations to join forces, pending approval from regulators. And new at 5, defense lawyers in the brutal killing of a 10-year-old Chippewa Falls girl returned to court, trying to have evidence suppressed. News 9's Sabrina Lee is joining us live in studio to tell us what happened.
Yes, Melissa, today's hearing was all in advance of another hearing in just a few weeks, which will determine if the case stays in adult court or moves to juvenile. Today, defense lawyers tried to argue to keep evidence out of that hearing, saying they don't want crime scene or autopsy photos or videos to be admitted. They argued that evidence contained sensitive information about Lily. The judge and state prosecutors agreed to keep those requests, keeping them out of the hearing, but open for use in a future trial. Now, the multi-day hearing to determine where the trial will be held is set to begin on August 7th.
Thank you very much, Sabrina. But before you go, we Are we learning anything else about the suspect at that point? I know there's been a lot of conjecture about that.
Well, right now, all we know is that he is a young teenage boy with the initials of CPB, and that is currently in court today. His defense lawyers actually wanted to make sure during that upcoming hearing his name would be avoided, if at all possible. Although if it stays in adult court, it will likely be revealed.
Okay, very good. Appreciate the update on that case there. Also new at 5, a big gift to an area fire department could save lives in north central Wisconsin. Jimmy Sadowski has the details. He's in Cronenweder.
I'm here at the Cronenweder Police and Fire Department, where earlier today they received a big shipment of Narcan. First responders tell me it's going to save a lot of lives. Attorney General Call, Cronenweder Police Chief Terry McHugh, and others spoke about the importance of Narcan helping address the opioid epidemic. Over 30,000 additional Narcan doses were distributed to law enforcement across Wisconsin, all in the name of saving lives.
That's what we want to do with these resources we're bringing into the state, is make sure that we're helping communities prevent the worst harms from the opioid epidemic from continuing at the same level they have been.
These extra resources come at a time when $5 million in funding came from larger settlement amounts against opioid manufacturers, distributors, and pharmacies. First responders tell me it's important everyone knows how to give Narcan. If you want to learn how, we'll have some instructional videos posted on our website. In Cronenweder, Jimmy Sadowski, News 9, WAOW.
Thank you, Jimmy. And the world's largest economies beat expectations with the spring surge. The Commerce Department reports economic growth expanded almost 2.5% between April and June. That's a faster pace than in the first 3 months of the year, beating expectations, as we mentioned. Also, jobless claims showed the number of Americans filing for unemployment benefits fell for the first time last week. Now, as the Feds say recession fears are fading, OPEC cuts oil production. That is blamed for higher prices at the pump. AAA reports the national average for regular gasoline climbed 2 cents today to $3.71 a gallon, its highest price in 8 months, but still well below last year's $5 a gallon. Extreme heat is also playing a role, affecting refinery maintenance as well. And that's not all. The heat, of course, is impacting fairgoers and vendors, how they are dealing with that at one county fair. Plus, Stevens Point leaders are making it easier for people to get around. We'll take a look at the changes to their bus service when we return.
And stick with us, we're still tracking very strong thunderstorms moving into the area, with multiple warnings recently being issued on the western edge of the state. We'll let you know what's headed our way and when you can expect it in central Wisconsin. That's coming up.
You're watching News 9 WAOW at 5 with Melissa Langbin and meteorologist Jackson Garlock. News 9 at 5 continues.
Welcome back. A new bus route is coming to the city of Stevens Point, and News 9's Brendan Retzlaff explains.
Here in Stevens Point, the city's bus route is ready to expand, and officials tell me that the city has a new route that's going directly to an area hospital that will save folks time, stress, and money. Here we go. Testing. 3, 2. After 8 years of planning, Central Transportation in Stevens Point is about to introduce a new bus route that will go to Marshfield Clinic on the northeast corner of the city. Officials say this was a change that was much needed.
We just wanted to make our current transportation system better, wanting to kind of get more connected to certain parts of town and streamline some of our routes and make them more efficient.
Shireman thinks the expansion of the bus system and the routes means a whole lot more for the city. Local businesses will see more customers, and current bus riders will feel more connected, as well as those who haven't ridden a bus, just to alleviate the traffic in the area. The bus service kicks in starting Monday, and we'll have a link to the route and their schedules on our website. Reporting in Stevens Point, Brendan Retzlaff, News 9, WAOW.